There are tons of business podcasts to choose from, but only one has the stamp of approval. Kristin Stampini is South Florida's leading real estate entrepreneur and your trusted source for everything real estate.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome my listeners and thank you for joining us today for another episode of my podcast, The Stamp of Approval. I'm Kristin Stampini, co-founder of The Stamp of Approval with RE/MAX Services in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm also a certified real estate coach with the Craig Proctor Systems and the owner of Global Virtual Real Estate Assistants. I'm a real estate investor and a national trainer and public speaker. So the Stamp of Approval podcast was launched to share and educate other realtors, consumers, and other business owners across North America by sharing value and content to my listeners in each and every episode, as well as share my personal experience, my triumphs, my failures, my strengths throughout my entire life, with hope of my audience being able to expand their knowledge on everything in real estate, business, sales, and mindset oriented. So today I have Marcus Hinds. Marcus has been a realtor since 1999. He's currently the president of Hinds Realty Group, incorporated in Walnut Creek, California. You know, Marcus has experience in remodeling homes and built his very first custom home at the age of 27. Marcus has helped all types of clients, from those purchasing their very first starter homes to those building a real estate retirement portfolio. He currently receives personal training from Craig Proctor Coaching Systems, learning from the top brokers of North America as he builds a well-respected team of his own. His company strives on communication and in putting the client's needs and interests first. He believes in trust and loyalty while maintaining relationships with his win-win approach to all dealings. You know, his goal is to become your realtor for life. And I just want to tell you that Marcus I have known for years and actually have coached Marcus over the years. And he is awesome, a great friend, and a great entrepreneur and realtor. And I want to welcome you, Marcus. Thanks for being here. Absolutely. I was so looking forward to this episode. So today, what we're really going to dig into to the audience today is as a realtor. So for all the realtors, because I know, that is a big audience of people, how we can, because you have worked with investors over the years. And, if you are a realtor and you want to take a client, because, depends on the stock market, right? So the stock market right now is as many of you know, has gone up and down, and, and real estate is an great investment, right? So if you have past clients that you want to try to get into being investors, or you want to work with investors, tell us all about it, Marcus, and how that all works.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is, the question is like working with investors, and a benefit with working with investors is whether we're at the high point of a market or the low point of the market, it doesn't really matter, because everything has to sell. Everything will sell. It's just a matter of at what price.
That's right. And when you're looking at buying, it doesn't really, like you said, it doesn't really matter what part. Are we looking at what we're buying it for? And now this is non-flipping, okay? Obviously, non-flipping properties, or is it more of what we can rent the property for?
I think that'll be where we become masters at asking the right questions, right? The Greeks and high level masterminds create what's called gestalt. They talk from experience, and they get really great at asking questions.
So how did you start as an investor? To working with investors.
Yeah, so working with investors. So I think that number one, marketing and advertising and calling out for who we want to attract. So if we're looking for investors, we want to market and advertise fixer-uppers and use words like buy this home for $100,000 over the market price with a 50% flip profit opportunity.
You mean under the price? Under the market?
Yeah, so let's say you have, so if you're advertising a fixer-upper, a foreclosed or a fixer-upper home or a probate sale, just a rundown home, and you know that as a real estate agent that, whoa, this is in a $500,000 neighborhood, but they're asking $400,000 for the house.
Yep. Okay. And so where do we market for that?
If you're going to market for, I think that it's underused, but we can still use Craigslist.
Yep. I think in some areas it really attracts people in some areas for sure.
Yeah, because we're not looking for top-notch buyers. We're looking for investors that are looking for deals.
That's right.
So I think that some underused areas are, number one, Craigslist. Keep ads up daily on Craigslist. I think that some areas have magazines called the Penny Saver.
Yeah. How about bandit signs?
Bandit signs. You can use bandit signs in front of the houses. I've got some bandit signs that say, back when we were doing short sales, it said short sale. Call for information. And it was a 1-800 number that led to me out in front of the short sales.
Yep. I remember seeing those signs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so those worked out really well. So bandit signs could be brilliant and super cheap for an agent, especially an agent. We still use the AMS marketing with Craig Proctor, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So
the AMS, you can create signs that say whatever you want them to say, and then the 800 numbers can lead directly to your cell phone. And like you said, bandit signs. I mean, bandit signs is brilliant, and I need to make sure that as we're starting the season again to put those into place. Whatever message you're putting in there is going to be who you call out for. So a bandit sign made for investors would be great. And so a bandit sign could be as simple as using the wording that they resonate with. So investors are looking for flip, investments, cash buyer wanted.
And if it's hold, right, they're looking for highest rents.
Highest rents.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I think, as you put advertisements out for great, so that would be a different wording, right? If we want investors that are looking for rental property, which, let's face it, right now we're coming from high comparables from last summer, and then we've got the marketplace where maybe nobody wants to pay much more than what it was last summer. So we're gonna have an educational year this year of pricing things effectively.
That's right.
And we might want to call out for investors that aren't looking for a fast flip, which means they got to get a great deal, but rather investors that are wanting to hold things. Maybe they already sold property and they want to hold things. So then we might use wordings where great buy and hold rental opportunity.
Or, a lot of the time with investors, they're really looking at cap rate, right?
Cap rate, if it's a larger apartment building and they're looking for cap rate. One thing, looking for cap rate and rate of return. So that's actually who I'm targeting right now as far as investors, is investors who already sold their property and are looking to buy rental properties.
That's right.
Outside the Bay Area.
So there's different things that they can do. 1031 exchanges. So you might want to get investors, using different wording. Also, in California, in your market, and I know here in Florida, flipping is not very common today. Is that you're finding that as well, right?
Well, that's not true, because I have 2 in contract and my business partner has 2 going on. So
wow, that's awesome. How many?
Yeah.
How many homes do you have to look at to find that in your area, to be able to flip a property? Like here, it would be hundreds. You would have to go hundreds of homes and make there's just not a lot there to flip.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking at homes on the market, it sounds like, right? If we're
off the market too. I mean, but the thing is that, there's different obvious, if we're a realtor and we're looking to work with investors, there's different wording that you can use depending on if you're flipping, depending on if you're holding and renting, depending on what market you're in. So if you're in a flipper's market, that's easier, or if you're in a hold market, or, whatever it is, right, Marcus, you just use different wording for it.
Use different wording. So I think that what there is to do is for each of our markets, to look and see what are the opportunities.
That's right.
What are the opportunities that we see in the marketplace, number one, and then who do we want to work with? I don't want to work with buyers who are new. So I don't work with investors who haven't bought and sold at least 2 flips in the last 12 months. I won't work with them.
Yeah, because why? Because their expectations.
Yeah, they see a house that's 400 grand, and you could put 30,000 in, pay commissions, and make 30 or 40,000 profit. And I know that that's about right for my marketplace. If you can make $35,000 to $50,000 profit at the end of a flip, that is a good number. And so I'll just ask a buyer straight up, hey, here's an opportunity. If you could buy it for X and sell it for this amount, and you made 35 to 50,000. My dog doesn't like those kinds of investors either. You hear him in the background?
Yeah, I do.
He's like, yeah, those guys are going to write lowball offers. They're going to spin your wheels. That's not the right fit.
And I agree with you from working with investors as well. So I agree that they have to have experience, because the ones that are newer, I just say, you know what, maybe you want to hire an assistant and go write a bunch of offers, because that's not the right person that we're able to spend the time working with, because their expectations are not what reality is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the investors, so I think if we all check into who we want to work with for investors, they're a great piece to have in our repertoire. For example, my repertoire this year is going to be probate sales. I specialize in probates, and I'm connecting with attorneys and people who are the administrator or executor or executrix of the estate who's in charge. And it's great to have investors ready to go. So when a family says, I don't want to do anything to this home, we're ready to sell, get it off my hands.
That's right.
That I've got an investor that's ready to buy.
That's right. And then
so they're great to have for that. And the second investor that I look for this year, and I'm in Walnut Creek, Contra Costa, California. So I'm looking for investors who sold property and are looking for rental property. And what I feel confident about is what I'm moving my money in. I'm selling homes. If you've got a 3-bedroom home in a neighborhood where 3-bedroom is top dollar, it's time to sell that 3-bedroom home, residential home, and buy a 3-unit or a 6-unit apartment building.
Yep.
So it's called highest and best use. If you're an investor and I'm talking with you and you're holding on to a property that's reached its highest and best use, then it's time to sell that property, because the chances of it going up much higher, I think we're going to have a stable market for a few years. But going up much higher, I don't feel confident it's going to make any high gains. It's time to sell that property and buy multi-unit apartment building.
And what you just said there was awesome, because it's true. You have to figure out when the time is right as an investor to sell it and to decide on when. So as a realtor, don't we kind of need to know about, if we want to reach out and try to get investors, number one, shouldn't we know about what a good investment is, how to work with them, how to talk to them, things like that, besides marketing to them? What are the things that realtors should really know about to be talking to? So now they've marketed the investors. The investors are calling to talk to them. What do the realtors really need to know about investing, and working with an investor?
Yeah, so great question. So this is where us as professionals, my dad used to have a saying, we often forget more than some people will learn.
Yeah, that's good.
So let's role play that out. So you call me on a fixer-upper that I have.
Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Marcus.
Hey, Marcus, I am calling you about 123 Main Street, the fixer-upper that you have on the market.
Awesome. Are you looking for yourself, or will this be an investment property?
Investment
property, okay. And are you going to be buying and fixing it up and selling it, or were you going to be buying and fixing it up and holding it?
I haven't decided yet. I was hoping to buy it and flip it. See, I asked that question because I want to know that if their education is well enough where they're going to know their numbers. So now I want to see how savvy of an investor it is. So, okay, got it. So you're going to buy it, hopefully turn around and flip it. So what is the percentage of profit that you have to make when you buy a flip opportunity? And I can help you kind of understand if this is the right one for you. Well, once I flip it, if I can make at least 7% net currently, flipping it.
Okay. So this sounds like a pretty good opportunity then for you. So you asked a question of what do agents need to know. So at this point, agents need to know. Okay, so this is where I can walk through a home and I know what it needs, how much it's going to cost me, and how long it's going to take me to do the work, and how much I can sell it for. So if you want to show off for an investor, whether you're new or experienced, this is the best way to get the experience. You got a fixer-upper property. You want to have comparables ready to go for what the home would sell for. So you educate yourself on what it would sell for. And then have a list of the work that it needs to get that top dollar. That's the second thing. You need to have a list of what the home needs to get that top dollar and what it costs to get that work done.
Yeah. And then how much it would cost to sell it, right? So the closing costs on both sides.
Yeah.
How much carrying costs it's going to be?
Carrying costs. You can ask the question, are they buying it cash or are they going to have to get a hard money loan to help them determine if their margins are the 7% that you asked.
Right. And then how much commissions are going to be?
How much commissions are going to be? Yeah, that's kind of built in when they buy it. The commissions is set up, but you can help them understand when they go to sell it. And this is a great way to find out that if they're willing to sell the home with you. So often when working with investors, if we help them get the house, then we can also work into the deal that when they go to sell it, that they sell it with us.
That's right. So one of the big things is being a realtor and marketing to investors is they can tell, savvy investors is the ones that you want to work with. They can tell if you as a realtor know what you're talking about or not very quickly. And, Marcus pretty much just showed you how to figure that out and what to do. So you have to have your information. You have to have your numbers. You have to have, what needs to be fixed up, how much you're going to sell it for. Are they doing a hard money loan? Because are they paying, a certain percentage and how much down for the hard money loan? And a certain percent every month. So you have to figure that out. If it's cash, it's different. What are their carrying costs going to be? What is their, for a hard money or, cash deal, obviously, the taxes and, electric and whatever it is, right? Then what are the closing costs and commissions? So all of that stuff that Marcus just talked about is extremely, as a realtor, you've got to know all that information, right? Right, Marcus?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's something that one of my business partners actually just connected with another business partner with him. So now his education from his first investment flip and working with me to now he can walk through with other investors, and he gave me a nice pat on the back and he said, you schooling me and educating me on what needs to be done to a home, what it's going to cost. It just had it to where another investor who wasn't as savvy as him brought him in as a partner to help him remodel and flip a deal that's different than deals that we're doing together. So I have 3 investment partners. It's a separate business of mine where we're buying and fixing up homes.
Yeah.
Real estate. Now, this guy was able to walk through. Now, the same thing goes for a real estate agent.
That's right.
Earn an investor's business for life to where here's the way I like to say it is, if you're going to do something, if you're choosing to do real estate, whatever profession that you're going to do, be the best at it.
Yeah.
And always be what your community needs.
That's right. And that's one thing that you have done so well. And, you're so savvy in so many different areas, and, investing is one of them. So as a realtor, the other thing is because, investing in real estate is huge. So you can take your past clients, right? So talk about that a bit, about how you can get, now let's say that it's a past client and, they're in the stock market quite a bit, but you know what the stock market's doing. So you can really, and they trust you already because they're past clients, they've referred people to you. So you've done that, right? And reached out and gotten them to be investors. So I get your thing of, people you don't know okay, and calling you up and saying, I want to invest, and they've never invested before. But we're actually now talking about past clients. So they already trust you, so they're going to listen to you and follow your lead on what you're educating them and how to being an investor. Now, those people you'll work with, right? Somebody new that you have worked with previously on buying homes and things like that. Because they're,
absolutely.
Yeah. So how,
I think what,
yeah.
Go ahead.
How do you reach out to those people to really help them as past clients and referral clients and everything else is now to be investors? What do you do to get them to be investors?
Yeah. So I think what we're alluding to is stepping into being a career real estate professional for our sphere of influence, our people, versus a transactional.
That's right.
And so every one of my clients will have gotten anywhere from 2 to 5. I know you're going to scold me on this, but 2 times at least a year where they're getting something in writing of what's going on in the market and what I see as the best opportunities for investing. Is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to buy? Whatever I see going on in the market, they're educated. And then I drop at least 2 phone calls. So 2 written and 2 live phone calls a year. So every 3 months, my past clients hear from me, and I alternate written and phone, and it seems to work out well. And they also know that you text me and I'm available to go over any investing strategy they have.
And they know that you're an investor, right? So they trust you. You've worked with them. So when you're telling them about deals, are you telling them, hey, listen, if you want to look at investing, you can, just like what you talked about earlier, you can get this house for X. It's going to cost you this much. And this is what you can look at making. You actually give them those things. So you market to your sphere, past clients, whatever, and that gets them to be investors, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that it's really critical. It's really critical that your clients, that your client's life, like how many kids they have, right. How many bedroom house do they have? And then when they have a kid that's going off to college and they've got this 2,000 square foot house and it's a husband and wife, that you're in communication with them and they're looking to retire in 3 years, that it's time for a conversation around, okay, should we be looking for a nice townhome that costs half the amount of your home and then move the rest of that profit into a fourplex right now? Because there's the money that people make on their job. And then let me backpedal a little bit more. I don't just consider myself a real estate professional. We become kind of a business coach in the world of our real estate portfolio for our clients. If we're doing a great job of being great at what we do and understanding the market and protecting our clients' assets, we become a business coach for helping them build their portfolio.
That's right. Absolutely. And you can just think about how much money you can make the clients, even like you said. So what's your average price in your area?
Our average sales price is, let's call it 500.
Okay, so 500. So you said that an investor currently in the market today, you can flip homes, but they need to think that they're going to make on a $500,000 house, let's say, and after they put in all of, anything that needs to be put into the house to be able to flip it and everything else, after they pay their expenses and everything else, that they can make maybe $30,000, right?
Yeah, 7.5% to 10%.
So I was right on.
Yeah, 7.5% to 10%. And some investors won't be that savvy. Well, I don't know, and they'll beat around the bush. And you want to just kind of put it to them. Okay, look. So you buy a house for $350. You put $50,000-$60,000 in. You got your carrying costs, closing costs, and commission. You end up with $450,000 in costs. You make $50,000 profit. Is that a good enough deal for you to be excited about this opportunity?
That's right. And if it isn't, then you don't spend your time with those people, right?
It's not the right fit. Yeah, it's not the right fit for them. And sometimes investors will think, and we want to be careful as real estate agents. And I think it's great for everybody to go anywhere they can to get educated. But some of the common calls that I get is like younger real estate agents, and they don't want to hang their license anywhere. They went to a seminar, and the seminar said that they're going to call up every realtor in the county and have those realtors write a bunch of offers that they're going to lock up deals and then assign the contract right. So they're going to have you writing 10 offers a week, lowballing offers. And
that's why I said they needed a secretary to do that.
Yeah. So, so asking the right questions, and we already went over that. I think really asking those right questions to see what percentage return that investor needs, to see if that's realistic in your area. And then you can go and you can look at homes that have sold, the cheapest homes that have sold in the last 3 months, and then look at those homes and then comp them out for what they would sell for fixed up and how much it would cost to fix them up. And then that will help you understand what is the realistic return in your particular area.
Yep. And you can, at first you can bring in a general contractor or handyman or whatever to come in and give you those things until you understand how much it costs yourself. And if you don't know the costs, but here's
an awesome idea I just got. So if you're a newer agent and you want to get working with investors, now keep in mind, early in the season right now, these next 3 months, that could mean that you help a couple of investors get into a deal. You work your butt off, you make the commission there, but then when they fix it up and flip it, you got a fixed up, flipped home in the summertime.
That's right.
So for a newer agent, this is a great opportunity to go towards. And as I was newer, I was much more aggressive going after investors. It meant a lot more work, but because I was willing to outwork my competition, outwork veteran agents that had a lot of business, they respected me, they appreciated me, and if I found them a deal, the arrangement was that when they fix it up, they sell it through me. And then what I'm going to add to that, Christina, is that if you're not that savvy on repairs and needs, you can link up with an awesome contractor, and you can link up with a great home inspector, and then you go walk through the property with the investor buyer, with a home inspector and a contractor, and they're showing off. And now that's part of your team. You are the team. You're not just you, by having great resources.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so where is the best place to find, obviously in hot markets when, when investments, you can make a lot of money is different. But like today, where are the best places to find these homes for investors?
Investors to find great homes.
Yeah. So if you're a real estate agent and you are targeting new investors that you don't know, that have experience, or you're going into your database to make those people, to help those people in investments, is the best place to find them on the MLS. I mean, where are the best place to find these homes?
I think if I was an investor, I would have connections with as many real estate agents as possible.
But as an agent, where are the agents finding the homes for the investors?
I would be talking to probate and probate attorneys and letting them know that you've got cash buyers ready to buy things as is.
Yep.
I would be talking to, there's still people doing some foreclosures. We don't see a lot, but agents and brokers that do. So we're talking about agents to find the deals for investors, right?
That's correct. Yep.
I would go to, so here's how you find them. So if in your county right now, you pick a city, and in that city you said, okay, the average house is $500,000. So if there is a house that the tax records show that it's worth $350,000 in value right now, and that the improvement value on the tax records, if the improvement value is less than 50, so here's what I'm getting at. So we pull up the tax records, and we have the title company pull up what is the values of the homes. And what I do is I narrow down the search to properties where the land value is 50% or more of the improvement value. You get that? So,
Yep.
so if a house is worth $500,000 fixed up, the land's typically worth $150,000, let's say.
So do you market to those people?
I market to those people, which means that the land that they're showing the improvement value is $300,000 and the land is worth $150,000, and I know that the average sale is $500,000. That means that those homes have not been improved or fixed up for X amount of time, and I usually go back 10 years. That there has been
that's a great idea.
No permits for 10 years.
So you're going in to figure out in the tax records that homes that have never been improved, and then you're marketing to those people because a lot of them will sell them and obviously never improvement, need a lot of work, older homes. Then you can market to them for the investors that now either in your database that you have created, okay, that are experienced investors, people you've never worked with, or the people in your database that are past clients that want to invest in properties, okay?
Yeah.
But the other thing is if you're not flipping them, guys, those are huge and easy today. Like in Florida, rents are higher than they've ever been, okay? So for a person to purchase a home, they aren't looking for being, they're looking for the homes that rent the highest. Okay, that you can, the return on investment is really good. So those are easy to find right now in Florida. Those aren't hard. So you're looking for people maybe who don't want to flip. So what you need to do, whoever's listening to this call, okay, all the listeners, to work with investors, give them a couple, realtors that want to find investors and work with investors, just give them a couple closing tips for them. Marcus.
Oh, okay, so I was taking notes. A couple of closing tips for working with investors right now.
For realtors to reach out to get investors, give a couple closing tips of what you would do. You'd market to them, right?
I would market to them. So what I would do right now is if I was looking for investors right now, I would look at the marketplace of the cities that I want to work in. Now, if you live in Concord, California, why not find deals in Concord, California first? It sure would be nice to drive a mile instead of 10.
That's right.
So I would look in my local couple cities that I really wanted to work in. I would find the best of the best deals. I would find like maybe seven of the best deals. I like number 7. And then I would call those agents, especially the ones that I know that the average sale time in my county right now is about 21 to 22 days. So I would look at the homes that haven't sold for 25 days. They've been on the market for 25 days or more, and they're a great deal. They're ugly, they're beat up, they're selling for cheap. It's a good deal.
Yep.
And I would advertise, and I would call those brokers, the listing agents, and I would ask them, hey, can I advertise your home? Number one, go do an open house. If it's not raining, go do an open house. But take those houses and ask if you can advertise them on your Facebook, put an ad on Craigslist, and help you find a buyer.
Yeah, and that's going to bring you guys investors right there. Then in your database, you can sit there and you can say, okay, buy a home for $300,000. Hey guys, this is a great time to invest, especially with the stock market the way it is today. And if you've never invested before, I'm going to teach you how. I know I've worked with you in the past before. The rents are higher than they've ever been. And I will show you how to make a cap rate or how much money you can make to hold the property and rent it out at 7% or 8% that I know the stock market is not being able, to give you, or something, something like that, and send it out to those past clients of yours.
You know what I would do also, Kristin? You just gave me another idea, and I hope some of my agents are watching this. Take the apartment buildings. Look around for the apartment buildings, and you might have to get LoopNet. You might have to spend a couple $100. I think you can do LoopNet for $150 for a 6-month agreement or something like that to get all the commercial deals, which is where a lot of the commercial stuff is. Find some apartment buildings in your area, and then research back, because if you can get a 4 or 5% cap rate, that's considered a decent rate. To me, that's crap. I'm not buying anything at a 4 or 5% cap rate.
That's right.
I won't buy anything for less than 8. And I have 2 apartment buildings in contract right now. I sold properties in the Bay Area. I'm eating my own medicine. I fixed them up. They're maxed out. I sold them last year. I'm buying 2 apartment buildings, and both of them are bringing me a 10% cap rate.
Yep. And then the
Now,
other
I had to write offers on 10 of them to get 2 of them to stick.
That's right. And then the other thing that you guys can do, and I highly recommend you do, look at your portfolio of your past clients, okay? And or your sphere. And I want you guys to do an investment seminar just with those people and show them how they can invest in real estate and use those people and show them exactly what they can do and bring them in, how much money they can make, learn more about investments yourself. And then those people that already trust you, okay, and they're already investing in the stock market, but they've never invested in real estate, that's the way to do it. And you can pick up so many clients just from in your investment portfolio just by doing that. So awesome, Marcus. If people want to reach out to you for either referrals or maybe to find out more about how they can pick up investment clients, can you tell them how to do that?
Yeah, so Facebook, Marcus D. Hinds, can add me on Facebook and reach out to my messenger there. My email is marcus@marcushinds.com. And if it's a friend of yours or here's the thing. If I can make a difference for somebody in the real estate community that's going to be able to help families out, I'm willing to help. And my cell phone, 510-435-4422. Text me and let me know that, hey, you got 5 or 10 minutes and roll something by me. If I can help somebody succeed in this business, I'm happy to.
Yeah, that's awesome, Marcus. And I thank you today. And, guys, knowing Marcus over the years, and I've known him for many, many years through the Craig Proctor system, like I said, and I've coached him for many years, previously as well. So I'm just going to tell you, he's a great guy, definitely is always willing to help others and has been extremely successful with investing himself, with real estate, and at such a young age that he is definitely somebody who you want to look up and talk to, and of course send him any type of referrals in his area. So thank you, Marcus, and thank you listeners.
Awesome. And one thing I'll leave everybody with, Kristin, is that pick 1 or 2 things and really hammer those out. Don't get distracted by shiny objects. Pick 1, maybe 2 things and focus only on that.
Yep, that's good. Okay, thank you, listeners. Bye-bye.